June Lockhart, one of the last living bridges to Hollywood's golden age, has completed her final scene at age 100. Today we're celebrating the extraordinary century of an actress who began in black and white classics and journeyed all the way to the stars and beyond. Long before she became America's television mother, June Lockhart was born into acting royalty. On June 25, 1925, in New York City, she entered a world where the stage was her inheritance. Her father was character actor June Lockhart, her mother actress Kathleen Lockhart, and performance was the family business. Imagine this childhood. Instead of playing with neighborhood friends, young June was making her professional debut at just 8 years old at the Metropolitan Opera. By 13, she made her film debut alongside her own parents in the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol, playing daughter to their Mr. and Mrs. Cratchit. Talk about keeping it in the family. But June wasn't content to remain in her parents' shadow. She blossomed into a promising young actress in her own right, appearing in what we now consider classic films alongside Hollywood's biggest stars. 1938, A Christmas Carol, Belinda Cratchit. Film debut with her real parents, 1941. Sergeant York, Rosie York. Supported Gary Cooper in his Oscar-winning role, 1944, Meet Me in St. Louis, Lucille Ballard. Appeared in classic musical with Judy Garland, 1945, son of Lassie, Priscilla, played grown-up version of role originally created by Elizabeth Taylor. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. While many young actresses would have been satisfied with a successful film career, June set her sights on Broadway. And in 1947, she didn't just appear in For Love or Money, she took New York by storm. One newspaper at the time wrote that she had burst on Broadway with the suddenness of an unpredicted comet. She won a special Tony Award for Outstanding Performance by a Newcomer, a category that doesn't even exist anymore. This was only the beginning of an incredible journey that would soon revolutionize television. As television sets began appearing in American living rooms in the 1950s, a new kind of star was about to be born, and June Lockhart was perfectly positioned to become one of its most beloved faces. From 1958 to 1964, June Lockhart became Ruth Martin on Lassie, the patient, kind-hearted mother to young Timmy and his incredible collie. She was actually the third actress to play this mother role, following Cloris Leachman and Jan Clayton. But it was June who made the character iconic. Now here's some behind-the-scenes drama you might not know about. In a 1989 interview, June revealed some secrets about her famous canine co-star. First, Lassie was actually always played by a male collie because males are larger and have more impressive ruffs. Second, she worked with 4 different Lassies during her time on the show. There was one main dog plus specialists, one for running, one for fighting, and a stand-in. And contrary to what we might imagine, she revealed that Lassie was not especially friendly with anybody. Lassie was wholly concentrated on the trainers. But just as America had come to know and love her as the perfect mother in rural settings, June made a shocking career move that would take her from the farm to the final frontier. From 1965 to 1968, June Lockhart became Dr. Maureen Robinson in Lost in Space, trading in her apron for a spacesuit as the matriarch of a family lost in the cosmos. While the show was often campy and over the top, June brought the same warmth and wisdom to space that she had to the farm. She later recalled that working on the show was like going to work at Disneyland every day. And in a fascinating full-circle moment, she made a cameo in the 1998 Lost in Space film reboot, connecting the original series to the new generation. But perhaps the most surprising revelation is how June felt about these iconic mother roles. She once confessed, "I must quote Dan Rather. I can control my reputation, but not my image, because my image is how you see me." And the real June Lockhart was nothing like the character she played. If you thought June Lockhart was anything like the gentle, always perfectly composed mother she portrayed, prepare to have your world rocked. In a 1994 interview, she revealed, "I love rock and roll and going to the concerts. I have driven army tanks and flown in hot air balloons, and I go plane gliding, the ones with no motors. I do a lot of things that don't go with my image." Her Lost in Space co-star Bill Mumy confirmed her rock and roll spirit, revealing that she once took him and Angela Cartwright to the legendary Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub in Hollywood to hang out with the Allman Brothers Band. Can you imagine Mrs. Robinson from Lost in Space hanging out with the Allman Brothers? But her unexpected passions didn't stop there. She had a lifelong fascination with journalism and politics that few knew about. Her friend reporter Merriman Smith arranged for her to travel with both Dwight D. Eisenhower and Adlai Stevenson during the 1956 presidential campaign, and she did it again with both campaigns in 1960. She became such a regular at White House briefings that she was practically an unofficial member of the press corps. Family spokesman Lyle Gregory confirmed that her true passion was journalism. She loved going to the White House briefing rooms. In one hilarious incident, she was called on during a presidential briefing and asked President George W. Bush for the name of the veterinarian who cared for the first family's dog, Barney. Bush chuckled and said it was top secret. Even at the highest levels of power, she never lost her connection to her animal star roots. As decades passed, June Lockhart never stopped working. Her career spanned nearly 90 years, making her one of the last surviving actors from the golden age of Hollywood. She continued appearing in guest roles on popular shows like Full House as Michelle Tanner's kindergarten teacher, Grey's Anatomy as a hospice worker, and even voiced a character in the Netflix Lost in Space reboot in 2018. Her final credit came at age 93, an incredible feat in an industry obsessed with youth. Throughout her extraordinary career, June accumulated numerous honors. 2 Emmy nominations, 1953 and 1959 for Lassie. Special Tony Award for Outstanding Performance by a Newcomer. 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for motion pictures, one for television. NASA's Exceptional Public Achievement Medal for inspiring public interest in space exploration. But beyond the awards and accolades, she understood the significance of her iconic roles. She once reflected, "How wonderful that in a career there is one role for which you are known. Many actors work all their lives and never have one part that is really theirs." On October 23, 2025, June Lockhart passed away of natural causes at her home in Santa Monica, California. She had just celebrated her 100th birthday on June 25th. Her daughter June Elizabeth Lockhart Triolo and granddaughter Christiana Triolo were by her side. Family spokesman Lyle Gregory shared that she was very happy up until the very end, reading the New York Times and LA Times every day. It was very important to her to stay focused on the news of the day. Even at 100, her passion for journalism never faded. Angela Cartwright, who played her daughter in Lost in Space, paid beautiful tribute to her. So smart, quick, and funny, she filled her 100 years with curiosity, laughter, and rock and roll. I can only imagine she's feeling right at home as she steps off this planet and into the stars.